Good morning, Joan of Arc, and happy Pride. Yahoo! So today we are all about food. Jim DeBreiker and I have been talking recently about how that really is the central symbol of our faith, a table, where in an ideal world, everyone is welcome and there is always enough. So, amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Many of you I know, first of all, are familiar with Open Arms, a local organization that delivers meals to people with life-threatening illnesses. They are a partner of ours, having received justice grants for many years. They are great neighbors. Many of you have volunteered with them. They are located on Bloomington, just a few minutes from St. John's, and surprise, they are dealing with construction right now at their site. So volunteer and SJA parishioner Kathleen Flugel suggested that they contact our high priest of facilities management, Steve Friedrichs, and now Open Arms will be serving the meals to the drivers this week from the St. Joan of Arc parking lot. So yay for that. That's a neighborly thing to do. And today we welcome an organization here that is even closer to the heart of this community. Mobile Loaves Twin Cities has been around for a little while now, and hundreds of you have volunteered to prepare food, to drive the truck and staff the truck at multiple locations all over the Twin Cities. You have donated and gathered hygiene items and knitted winter scarves and hats and brought thousands and thousands of socks. COVID did a number on Mobile Loaves Twin Cities, as it did on so many, but MLTC never stopped providing food and fellowship to people in need in our community, and they are ready today to share the good news and invite you in to the next steps at Mobile Loaves Twin Cities. Please welcome our wonderful parishioner and Mobile Loaves champion since the beginning, Mark McLellan.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you, thank you. So good to be here and good to be in my home parish. In AA, you're encouraged to go to multiple meetings with different groups, but also encouraged to have a home group too, and no doubt about St. Joan of Arc. This is my spiritual home group and my home parish, and always will be. So thank you for being here and honoring this with me. Home is where the heart is, as we say, and when we launched Mobile Loaves in 2010, and I want to take a pause here to recognize that I wouldn't even be standing here today if Father Jim DeBreiker didn't take a call out of the blue from a quiet parishioner in the back row who wanted to live the mission and be part of the journey at St. John's, and he welcomed me in. We had a meeting. We thought this whole concept of a food truck delivering meals to those in need would be a good idea, and you accepted my proposal. And then we had about 2 years of legal entanglements to work through, but nevertheless, you were also there when we kicked off our first night on St. Patrick's Day 2010 with a blessing, and we've been going strong ever since. So thank you for that, Father Jim, first and foremost. And when we launched, homelessness was what we thought our focus would be. And quickly out of the gates and over time, we've learned that the lines are less clear between those in need and the source, and the secure. Lines are less clear between those in need and in contrast to the secure, and are far less obvious. Subsequently, our model and mission has changed also. Thus, today we want to take an opportunity to refresh our beloved parish and volunteer community on what has changed with Mobile Loaves Twin Cities, and share with you some key learnings and observations from within our cities as we do this important work. Through the years, we've been present to bear witness as to what's happening in certain parts of our local economy. And when we started this program, as I mentioned, it was in large part about serving people on on the streets. But the world has changed. The streets have changed. The needs have changed, and the way we serve certainly has changed as well. One, in large part, it used to be about the homeless folks holding up their signs on the street. And now we have a term called tent communities. And every city in America seems to be trying to address this with really no obvious nor available answer to this crisis. Secondly, housing costs have arisen exponentially well after the mortgage crisis of 2007, and really shows no signs of correcting. According to the U.S. National Home Price Index, that increase over the last 12 months alone is 18.6%. Think of those with less than stellar credit and tie in high interest rates, and you find out quickly that owning one's home is no longer part of the American dream for many. The pressure has increased on and for subsidized housing programs and for affordable housing programs in general, and we hear this firsthand from the locations that we serve. And I'll speak more on that in just a moment. And as I said, and when we started the program, innocently hoping to serve those on the streets with a clear and present need, we didn't know that roughly 9.7 million Americans, even some with a roof over their heads, still live below the poverty line, where the choice becomes paying rent or eating. So a meal, fresh socks, a toothbrush, and basic hygiene products are always a welcome supplement to their budget. So we evolved with our humble truck that's illegally parked outside, mind you. We've evolved, thankfully, and we usually do park legally, to serve meals and make connections with our sisters and brothers on the streets, but now also with shelters, affordable housing communities like Little Earth in Minneapolis, shelters like Simpson Housing, also in Minneapolis, or Listening House, a day shelter in St. Paul, hence crossing the river. Those were all important learnings for us. As importantly are the relationships that have been built at the sites that we serve and with those of whom we serve. And those who have been gracious enough to volunteer with us have witnessed these things firsthand. Then, as Julie mentioned, the pandemic struck. The pandemic, and our tough little truck loaded with individual meals, socks, toiletries, and supplies was grounded for a few weeks. Stopped in our tracks, and as our core team decided at that time, we couldn't risk subjecting those we serve nor our volunteers to COVID-19. And the challenge with that decision, and as in one of our emergency core team meetings at the time, Janet Thomas, our site coordinator, said, well, the problem with stopping is that the calls keep coming in, and the need is not going away. In fact, the needs were increasing in that moment. So the core team, and I'll take a moment here to mention these folks. There's Pat Garrity, Janet Thomas, Jean Layton, Dick Brozick, Bob Wadle, Ron Jokey, Sandra Gutzweiler, and Mike Doyle, some of which are here and some of which will be in the back of the Welcome Center on your way out if you want more information on Mobile Loaves, and certainly the truck as well. And also special mention to Kathy Samsky, who does amazing work for us very quietly. And we always honor Floyd Ward, who was battling some health issues, who was really the engine of Mobile Loaves early on. So back to the story. The core team got innovative, which is always a nice word for saying, you know, we really don't know what we're doing, but we're going to find a way to listen to those we serve and answer the call. Tip of the cap again to Ron for redesigning our safety protocols and our training. And thus, with a much smaller volunteer base due to the pandemic, we developed a safe way to serve meals in bulk at some of our more critical locations, so we could continue to answer the call even during a pandemic, but with a deeper and more intentional approach to safety. And for a time during the pandemic, make-ready and food prep teams were limited to families that were already isolating in their homes, using their personal vehicles to keep the meals flowing. And as Dick Brozick, a member of our core team, also mentioned many times, hey man, mobile is not limited to a truck or just one way to serve. So we had to rethink and think more broadly about mobility. And now we serve individual meals out of the truck, which is really set up nicely for the individual meal deliveries. And we also do bulk deliveries out of personal vehicles as well. So we've expanded quite a bit. And the numbers show that. The numbers in 2022, we roughly went from 31,000 to 32,000, which was our annual average, to quickly to 39,000 meals. And we are projected to serve 45,000 meals in 2023. And I received that applause as a compliment to our operation, though I think all of us would agree we'd rather not have to serve the 45,000 meals, right? But we are grateful for that, and I'm grateful for the applause and recognition by this wonderful Warren Parish community. And with that, our expanded model, of which we changed and innovated to meet those needs, we've had many new opportunities and ways to get involved. And we'll show you a video, and again, there's folks in the Welcome Center there to greet you and get a sense if you are interested in working with us in this ministry. And by the way, the video, a warm thank you to Jeff Noner and his nephew Luke for putting the video together, and we're going to show you that here in just a minute as we wrap up. So the definition of home continues to change, the economic gaps widen, and the needs to continue to evolve. So where do we go from here? We don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is this parish community and our program will continue to bear witness and bring value to our extended Twin Cities community. And per our all-volunteer tradition, we have no paid staff. We will continue to utilize our finances and resources only to answer and provide to those in need. And with your help, love, and support, and with the help of our higher power, we will continue to be mobile, and we will continue to adapt and learn as we go. So thank you to my home parish, St. Joan of Arc.
Even in our vibrant Twin Cities, many of us don't realize that there are many people all around us who are not getting basic needs met. Mobile Loaves Twin Cities is an all-volunteer organization whose mission is to drive this truck into the community to serve our brothers and sisters nourishment and dignity. We do it by sourcing quality food, ingredients, and supplies from the community. We have make-ready teams that prepare the food. We have truck teams that take the food out into the community. We have over 20 stops that we typically frequent either on the streets here around us or actual locations like shelters, affordable housing communities, places where there's real fundamental needs.
The real purpose of this space is to give people an opportunity to get a good night's rest so that they can go out the next day and hopefully connect to resources that can really help them find housing, or some people have jobs. Through our partnership with Mobile Loaves, at least about 2 days a week, we're able to provide bag lunches to a lot of our guests, and they really appreciate that because sometimes they may not have access to food once they leave here.
With it being affordable housing, it keeps a lot of our seniors in their community close to families, which a lot of them can appreciate. They're still close to their loved ones. I'm still able to have somewhere affordable to live. Again, with income restrictions, you know, it's something they definitely appreciate it. It's nice to have that load off and not having to cook for that moment. It's kind of a special treat for some of them.
And we do have poverty in North Minneapolis, so we're really trying to build the whole child. During the school year, they can come and get their homework done. And we also offer athletics. Our summer spot, a child will come in the hospitality house at 7:30 in the morning and might stay until the evening. And thank God for Mobile Loaves and Fishes coming on board as a partner, helping us feed the children, because sometimes we might have to feed them 3 times a day. And it don't only help the children, it helps the family also.
Since 2010, we've served hundreds of thousands of meals and served the needs that are prevalent. For instance, in 2010, after the tornado struck in North Minneapolis, we were in that community within 2 hours delivering much needed meals and supplies. Similarly, after the George Floyd events in our community, we were there to help, as clearly local businesses were shut down at that time.
We have operated this organization with 100% volunteers. There's no paid staff. What's unique about it is 100% of these dollars go right back into serving the poor. 95% is purchasing food, and another 5% to take care of our truck and insurance and those kinds of things. So it's a unique nonprofit from that standpoint.
We're doing more bulk deliveries as well as feed in the street deliveries. Needs in the community have gone up exponentially, and now is the time for you to be part of it. We always need supplies. We need toiletries. We need fresh socks. We always need food supplies. And there's many ways we can work with you. You can contribute to us financially through our Sustainers program, or if you have a company or a foundation that likes to get involved in the community and wants to help, please check us out on mobileloavestwincities.org.